But let's start, Paddy, fittingly with Westpac. Westpac is in New Zealand and Australia, one of our earliest customers from a platform perspective. There is so much that you actually do on platform, and it is your architectural decision engine. Could you maybe talk a little bit about what are some of those things that you're doing on FICO Platform?
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Nikhil, and thanks for inviting me up onto the stage. So I think we signed in June 2018, so we've been at this for a while. Our intention was to have an enterprise decision and capability, and the initial use case was for all consumer lending from the origination through the full life cycle. So we've got that in place. We've also got some of the commercial risk grading models in there.
Yes.
We're looking to expand into commercial credit limits offering. We've got some KYC. Weirdly, we've got some tax stuff in there. I don't know how that happened, but it's probably a good thing.
I'm sure it's a good thing.
Yeah, and we're just kind of looking to expand the use cases over time and just bring everything together onto the platform as we can.
You know, you've talked about the benefits of a single platform.
Yep.
And how important it is actually to have a single platform. Can you maybe share a little bit about what you mean by that and what kind of benefits you're seeing?
Yeah, well, I think golden rule, have fewer decision systems than analysts.
Yes.
So that's kind of done. But I mean, you know, it does what it says on the tin, and you get the benefits that you expect if you let it,
yes,
and if the organization organizes itself right. So, you know, on the technology front, we've got platform rationalization, we've got the benefits that gets in terms of simpler data management and all of that stuff.
Yes.
We've got the benefit of the cloud, so we're always on the latest version. We don't have the upgrading hassles to deal with, and it's scalable because the incremental cost of each next step is kind of progressively lower. Kind of on the ops side, it allows a center of excellence. So we've got the decisioning team, it works because they're closely coupled with the technology team. I think we were even generous enough to invite the technology lead here with us this week because they're critical to success. Reduces the number of things you have to do, so there's less op risk. And excuse me, and then obviously key person risk is less if you've got fewer things to manage. So the operational benefits are there. And then on the customer side, you know, you're just running less compliance risk because you're just doing one set of decisionings that are coherent,
yes,
and that are consistent across any channel that the customer is interacting with.
Yes. Paddy, I love what you said up front. Bill, I think I'm going to change the marketing that we have around this. It does what it says on the tin. Is that okay, Bill? All right, buddy. Paddy, I love it. Next time when you see us, we're going to have changed our slogan. Hey, when we were talking on the phone, you know, one of the things you told me about was this regulatory change you just went through. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I don't expect everyone to be very familiar with regulatory conditions in New Zealand, but the Reserve Bank has recently decided that it'd be a really good idea to manage housing lending on a debt-to-income basis. And the idea is that it doesn't want, you know, too much of a percentage of lending being above certain debt-to-incomes as a kind of counter-cyclical measure against sort of price running away from you in low interest rate environments. And so, as anyone who's dealt with debt, you know, lending, categorizing debts and income in the same way across the entire industry is no mean feat. And so it's kind of, the challenge there was to sort of get all the data about the customer's debts and income, categorize it up right, and get ready for the speed limits to come into place. And I mean, we turned that around in less than a quarter.
Fantastic. Incredible.
Yeah,
nicely done. You know, you said just earlier about the value of reuse in a single platform. Can you maybe share an example of how you're doing that?
Reuse. An example? Yeah. So we've got the core segmentation underneath it. And we're running segmentation models there. And, excuse me, the segmentation that we've put in place for the kind of customer management pieces the logical structures there is exactly what we're using to build out to support the commercial lending. So you've got that kind of, because it's all in one place, the data's all feeding in, the components just pick and drop them into a different strategy set, into a different set of decision models, and off you go.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. So good to have you.
Pleasure.
Morgan, you and FICO have been friends for a long time. Now at Wells Fargo, one of the largest institutions in the US, prior to that at Bank of America. Love your friendship, love your partnership. Thank you so much for being here. You've been a big believer in FICO Platform for a long time. And you've been a proponent, you've used it, you've seen the benefits and the impact that FICO Platform has had. You've talked about it being a differentiator for you. Can you maybe share a little bit about what that means?
Sure, you bet. Thanks for being here. Love it. Love you guys. I think that the differentiator is really important. It's a platform. It's in the word. It's in your name, right? And it's like, how many of us have brought scores, products, data, tools, models, et cetera, and you're sitting there like, how do I put them together?
Yes.
And you wind up with a disparate array of technology, platform, et cetera, and then you come up with the idea of a platform. You're like, oh, I can put everything in one place. I can have my data, my analytics, my algos, my models, et cetera, all in one place. I can link up tools. I can create a sandbox off that to play. And my analysts can kind of come in and go, oh, that's neat. And they can go to a library. And they can actually pull off a score or an algorithm or an attribute and say, okay, let's put it together because that type works over there. Let's see if it works over here. That power is really impressive. So you're simplifying our business, simplifying our cost structure for sure. You're getting us faster to market, right? And our analysts are actually doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
They're actually having fun.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't have to spend time finding data, scrubbing data, moving data, manipulating data before I can actually do the work.
Yes.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it's a differentiator. It's redefining how we actually do this work.
Yeah, fabulous. I don't think anybody could have said it any better than that. Thank you. Can you share an example of maybe how you're using this and what are you going to do with it next?
You bet, you bet. So we started off, we're modernizing most of our tech stack, like probably everyone else is around. We found one of our growth products and said, let's try the platform there. And for us, that's card. Right? And we found an area that was probably the furthest behind. We applied it to our account management strategies and card first. And then what we found is now you've hooked up, you've sunrose the technology, right? You're able to actually get people in and playing. And our first party fraud team for card came in behind it and kind of drafted in. And they said, oh, we'll go do that. And I'm like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
How'd you get in there?
Yeah.
Who let you in? Right. So that's kind of the acceleration of change. Once you've built it, now you can manipulate. It's easier to move.
Yes.
And so we're going to keep adding on more products as we expand across. We started in credit, and then we're first party fraud, and we'll eventually move to the rest.
Eric, we were talking with Jeremy yesterday, right? And he was talking about having experiences to expand your horizons and your imagination, right? Yeah. And it reminds me so much what Morgan just said about that conversation we had yesterday.
That's right.
Morgan, you've also talked about how the FICO Platform relationship has moved from being transactional in nature to really one that is a true partnership relationship, strategic in nature. Can you share a little bit about, what do you mean by that?
So in a transactional nature, we would have a contract, a statement of work, a body of work. We'd get it done. We'd be great, yay. But a partnership, and especially what we're doing, and we're doing so much work together, is just ongoing work. And it's actually finding a way to break that old third-party dynamic into a true partnership, which is we have people, you have people, we have a book of work, let's get after it, and let's just keep rolling. Because what we find is we might finish something earlier or something might take longer, and then now you're kind of stuck in this contractual relationship, and it's like, that just doesn't work in an agile world. And so if we can actually commit resources together and just go after a body of work for a set fee, that's a way you can change the dynamic of working, and you can make a lot more progress, because there is an acceleration on some of this you can't anticipate, and then you wind up like, oh, I need a new statement of work. Okay, well, I gotta go to legal. That's a lot of fun. So if we can kind of break that down to where it's about a relationship and partnership, you can change how you work and change how fast you can work.
We have a total economic impact system that we've developed, a calculator that we've developed for helping customers and each of you, please ask your FICO person about it. And I saw what Jim and you created through that calculator, and man, you took that to a whole different level. You showed me things in there and how to use it that I hadn't even imagined. So Morgan, thank you for that. And if you folks have an opportunity, we won't cover it right now, to ask Morgan about that later today or this week, I highly encourage you to do that. I think what you guys are doing, how you're thinking about this strategically, and really starting to facilitate how to bring that to life within your organization is a game changer.
Yep,
Congratulations, Morgan. Thank you so
awesome.
much.
Awesome.
Yeah.